Covid-19 in 77 verses. COVID, COVID, go away and never come again. I'm George Mutalemwa in Mwanza, Tanzania. My dear African friend, I hope you are safe and healthy. I have found it necessary to exchange ideas about the coronavirus pandemic. Originally, I used Swahili to convey a similar message, trusting that one day it will be Africa's common language. Now, I'm switching over to English, believing that English is the Swahili of the world. I've chosen to talk about Africa because we've got so many things in common. Furthermore, we are very different from the Europeans, Chinese, Americans, and others in our ways of living, thinking, and dealing with various challenges such as the coronavirus crisis. My main goal is to share ideas, to encourage us all not to ignore the tragedy or create unnecessary fears, so that in the end, we may all be safe. I will start with one or two small examples of the difference between us and Europeans. Europe is now leaving behind the icy cold winter. Well, actually, one of the warmest winters ever, a grave sign of global warming. Now, if you tell them not to go out because of the coronavirus, you really stress them out. When they see the sun, they are desperate to get out and bask in the sun. When we see the sun, we rush into the shade. They worry about how to walk their dogs, as they usually do, so that they can enjoy the sun together. When we see a dog, we throw a stone at him. More often than not, Europeans sit next to you on trains when that's the only seat available, and of course remain plugged in to smartphones. Africans, we leave all other empty seats in order to sit next to you. Now you can see why teaching us physical distancing is a hard nut to crack, let alone social distancing. When we are told to queue up, we gather together. This is probably the best quality we share with our Chinese friends, as Dambisa Moyo fondly describes them. Please excuse my generalizations. I believe variety is the spice of life. I'm persuaded to contact you because I've seen and heard so many things in Africa about the coronavirus, which if we ignore, we may be embarrassed, suffer, and even get swept away. There are people who say COVID-19 is a Chinese, American, and European disease. The largest number of cases is in the USA. Their immune systems are weak, and they are bold enough to say they don't believe in God, which is why they are punished. We Africans are strong and we pray a lot. Maybe that's what John Mbiti means by saying that Africans are notoriously religious. I can tell you, when I learned of the sudden death of one of my former students a couple of weeks ago, I cried. Please don't ask me the cause of his death. Let the dead bury their own dead. Some testify that the number of affected people in China, Europe, and the United States is much greater than in Africa. Therefore, we will be spared. Still others argue that the coronavirus cannot come to Africa. Certainly, in Africa we've had some good luck. Unlike those who were suddenly struck by the coronavirus, in Africa the virus has come slowly. We witnessed cases abroad through the foreign media. Indeed, the Lord hears the cry of the poor. It's as if God gave us the opportunity to organize ourselves. How did we use this opportunity? Imagine what would have happened had this deadly bug started off in Africa. Alas, you tell me, touch wood. I'm afraid the wood might have collected viruses from a passerby. You will remember that the coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, originated in Wuhan, China, in December 2019. It killed thousands and migrated to Europe and the United States and claimed thousands of souls as well. Luckily, we've not reached that number in Africa, but we might get there and beyond. The coronavirus disease is like a bushfire. You watch it burn from afar before it reaches your place. Perhaps for the first time in human history, the whole world is in the same boat. No matter where you are seated, we'll get off the boat together. Well, if we cooperate. We've been advised by experts to take all precautions to protect ourselves from the coronavirus. We've been told COVID-19 is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus that attacks the lungs and kills people. I repeat, all precautions. This is a global problem. Thus, we need a global solution. Avoiding gatherings and keeping social distance. I ask you that we avoid public gatherings, stay apart, as 4 steps between you and me. No matter how much we love each other, we keep social and physical distance. Wash our hands thoroughly with soap and running water as often as we can. Do not shake hands or hug one another. Remain at home to protect yourself and to protect others. East or west, home is best. We love guests, but they would rather wait for this disaster to pass. Otherwise, while we love them very much, the coronavirus may love them even more. The responsibility to protect ourselves is for all of us. That is, you and I and all people. And if we protect ourselves, we will survive. Protect yourself. Who are you waiting for to protect you? Protect your neighbor. If you love them, you will protect them. The Chinese and Europeans we call weak live up to 90 years. We who are strong, if we turn 60, that's providence. No wonder the Greeks say, those whom the gods love die young. When the Europeans and Chinese, who make our ventilators, vaccines, medicines, face masks, and hand sanitizers, fret, we, you and I, do not make a blessed mask or sanitizer, but we laugh in the face of the coronavirus. And when some people see a Chinese person, they even dare say, look at that little corona. Have you tested for the virus? Why show off? The Chinese and Europeans were the first to be affected by the virus and the first to act. It's not that we haven't taken action. Of course, we've taken action. The beloved Honorable Health Minister Umi Mwalimu has spoken about the coronavirus until she's almost running out of breath. Our government officials, journalists, leaders of political parties, religious denominations, civil society organizations, and others are working hard. What I am telling you, my friend, is that that's not enough. Given the African behavior I know and the economic and scientific potential that most of us have, we have to take extra steps and take them fully and swiftly. In West Africa, there are some people who are put into coronavirus quarantine. Do you know what happened there? A couple of them entered the woods and made off stealthily. Can you guess where they ended up? I suppose they wended their way homewards to join their kith and kin. Mwalimu Nyerere once said that we Africans should run while others walk. We need to walk to run faster than the coronavirus itself. It starts slowly, usually with one person, then it picks up like a bushfire in the Hamatan, as Chinua Achebe put it. How so? It's like in taking part in the Olympic torch relay. One holds the torch, then passes it over to the other. The other one receives it and hands it over to yet another. The weaker the person, the more vulnerable they get. No wonder Tanzania has suspended the Freedom Torch Relay for this year. It has also cancelled the Tanganyika-Zanzibar Union as well as May Day celebrations. I would like to emphasize the issue of public gatherings. Europe, China, and others prohibited all these gatherings because they are the main source of the spread of the coronavirus. The UK was too casual at first and allowed a football match between Atletico Madrid and Liverpool to go ahead. Many Spanish fans flew to Liverpool, bringing the virus with them. Result, huge increase of COVID-19 in Liverpool and many lives lost. Now, many people work from home. Others are paid half wages. Thousands have lost their jobs. Schools and universities are closed, and use of public transport is restricted to essential workers. Bus drivers were not adequately protected at first, and some have died from COVID-19. That is, you stay home. Even don't set foot at the next door neighbor's home. They call it lockdown. It's nearly the same as being in prison.